It's lovely.
Really
I went to the West Edmonton Mall. It was really nice. You guys have a fucking ice rink inside. It's mad. Crazy.
Yeah, so we can play in the summer. When it's warm and hot outside and not all igloo.
Yeah, I do always wonder where people live in the summer.
Usually, like within 2 hours of the border. Like that's where 90% of the population lives.
That's it. I've been to Toronto as well. Toronto was nice.
Yeah.
For a big city.
Toronto would be a lot nicer if there were no Torontonians in it.
See, I thought everyone was really pleasant when I was there, but I'm comparing them to like English people.
Oh yeah, don't worry. There's
you know what?
They can be the nicest people in the world, but if you're from Winnipeg, you hate everyone else from Canada.
Yeah, you really do.
So right, you know what was wild? I don't know if we told this before. So we went to see a baseball game. I don't know any baseball rules, so it was just fun to watch. It was really nice. You had the little songs when people came out and did stuff. That was nice. Firstly, wild. You have beer in glass bottles in the sports place. That was wild. And then you also didn't separate the fans. They all just sat together, in like a mingled group. That was weird. And then also afterwards, when it was finished, everyone just fucking politely left. There were no police anywhere. Like, what was going on? There were no like bloody fights or riots. It was ridiculous. I had no idea what was going on.
Okay, so I'm going to explain something. In Canada, no one really gives a shit about baseball. Like, we'll watch it, we'll enjoy it, have the drinks. It's when hockey happens is when you get all the fights and riots. Vancouver has burnt down twice because of riots, because their team lost.
Well, that's only because they didn't do it properly the first time.
Well, there's some great pictures the first time it happened where there's like some dude whipping his shirt what's on fire and there's like a flaming car behind him and it's like, oh boy. Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass, and today I have my wonderful co-host Cassandra.
Hello.
And we also brought from London, Ontario, UK, Aaron, who is the second place Karl of the UKGE, who also is featured in Just Roll One's podcast.
Good evening. I also live nowhere near fucking London. But yeah. Good morning, I think it is for me now.
Probably. Is it 1 a.m.?
It's just midnight.
Okay, well, you could say that in a couple hours. Or an hour.
If I have any delirious hot takes, then blame tiredness.
Yeah, aren't you like just shooting coffee right now? Or drinking tea?
No, I'm drinking beer. I'm 2 beers in for this meeting.
I have a little bit of a head cold, so I'm just pounding back orange juice.
Lots of sugar and orange juice.
Going to be hyper fixated on the images of an English person like putting a little bit of tea in a spoon with some water and then boiling it with a lighter and then drawing it into a needle and then tying their arm off and shooting up tea.
Oh my god!
So I'm out for the rest of the podcast, but you guys have fun.
I really don't like tea either.
You haven't shot up enough tea to know.
Yeah. It sounds like you haven't shot enough tea, honestly.
Oh my god.
I've been doing it wrong this whole time.
Yeah.
So, for Parabellum News, we got the Talos Artisan Series is coming out. You can get it for pre-order. Chest Pump Guy. What do you guys think of Chest Pump Guy?
The Talos?
Yeah.
Do you mean the model or the rules?
Okay, let's start with the model, because that's the one that hurts me the most.
Yeah, I think he looks dumb.
Cass?
So, here's the thing. The part of the model that ruins the model is maybe like 1/12 of the total mass of the model, but it has such a profound effect that it ruins 12/12 of the model. And that's the top half of his head that's sticking out. Like,
not the chest pump.
I wouldn't care about any of the rest of it. I'd just be like, oh yeah, that's fine. But I don't know how to say this. Like, I feel like when you are playing a game on the tabletop, like the army that you choose from an aesthetic standpoint, if you're making an aesthetic decision, is going to be reflective of like who you are as a person on some level, whether you intended it or not. That might not be true, but that's just my belief and my outlook. So like, I would never, outside of a gameplay necessity, which luckily the unit seems to fulfill, but we'll get into that. I would never choose a unit that looks like a big grody old man. And so to pay $150 for the privilege, I don't know. I sorry, I don't mean that to sound as shitting on them as it does, but I hate that it's Darth Vader under the helmet.
Okay. You can put a helmet on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so maybe they should have led with that.
I do think it looks much better with the helmet.
I do agree. The Darth Vader head is real rough. Like, I'm pretty sure I've seen this person at work. That's the rough part. With chest pump.
It's like I think the monster units especially have a responsibility to look cool just because they're like focal points on the table. Maybe not to us as people who play it, but like to people who walk by and stuff. So for that reason, you want to make sure. That's why dinosaurs are such an easy hit.
Sexy orcs on dinosaurs is a great selling point.
Yeah, can't argue with that. It's immediate. You're like, cool, dinosaurs. I love that. You're not gonna look at gross old man in pump armor and go, I love that. What's that cool guy doing? I want to be a part of his shit.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not going to yuck your yum. You know, if you're into the Talos, then you enjoy it, random listener.
I am gonna yuck your yum if you're into Pump Daddy. I don't know.
I christened this as the renaming of the Talos to Pump Daddy.
It's the platonic inversion of Hard Mommy.
See, Cass, the best thing is this is also definitely going to stick. This is as the new name.
I deployed Pump Daddy on turn 3. It's like, what the fuck is that?
I'm confident that I cooked with Pump Daddy.
Yeah. Now I want to play City States just so I can refer to it as Pump Daddy.
You can run double Pump Daddy. Maybe they pump one another.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Now I love them for that. Honestly, now I'm interested.
Yeah, we're all in on Pump Daddies.
Yeah, okay. Buying Pump Daddy. You have my $150.
Yeah, if you can make a daddy cule of multiple Pump Daddies. And, I mean, people have already said that that's not the move in terms of list building, but maybe you want to make a flavorful list.
Well, but you can have your Pump Daddies and your little, like your little giant babies running around. It's like you took his kids to the park.
I mean, I really like it, and I think with the rules as well, I think you're probably going to see one in a lot of lists.
Yeah, he kind of acts like a more, I want to say compact hoplite block. What has roughly the same amount of like defensive abilities, like if you're looking for like those like big hop blocks. Also, him having Hardened 2 is real good. Like, you for sure want to flank this guy to get rid of the shield, but there's very few things that have like Cleave 3 in the game to just deal with his Harden and get more damage in. His attacks aren't bad, 13 attacks at Cleave 1, but his whole stick is just getting in there and just being super annoying to remove.
Yep. It's I think it's a unit that City States A really needed, and it leans into their whole shit. So
well, I think with Pump Daddy, you don't need to bring a second hop block. Pump Daddy is your second hop block.
Exactly. Like, he'll gum it up seemingly just as nearly as good as a hop block, and if not just as good. And it's a good unit regiment.
Also, he can like either buff all the little people or buff his kids. Like, he has 2 auras of like getting, when you declare a charge, you get +1 impact for all infantry, and then giants get unstoppable. So like, he's got good stuff there, and then he's giving what is it? Blood of the Forge God? I think it's that. That's the rule. Is it the one where he gives more priest to people? Yeah, he gives more priest. Yeah. So like, if you're a City States player, go get yourself one Pump Daddy.
Yeah.
And live with your pump life.
BO1 pump jump.
Yeah.
It's basically the City States version of Chosen of Conquest. The jokes just write themselves.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a hardened pump daddy is pretty good starting point.
The Chosen of Conquest jokes I like because first it was like you just said the acronym, and then it was like you said the whole regiment name, and now it's horseshoed back to you just say the acronym. So it's like it's really a gift that keeps on giving.
That's good.
Yeah. Do you? So I know. Cass, did you ever play War Machine?
No. Well, so I read the rule book circa Mark II Prime, and that's about as far as I got.
Right, so I think it was in Mark II, end of Mark II. They came out with the Convergence of Cyrus.
Yeah.
And the story goes that they didn't actually realise that the acronym was going to be cock. And it didn't help because a lot of the warjacks in that faction looked like giant penises.
There was
it's very funny.
I think my favorite one is in Mark III. They released the spider dildo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, bless them. And now we play Conquest and also have cock.
Is there a cock in Warhammer? Or did they?
The guy you're playing, if it's a picture.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
It's just like, man, it seems like every war game I end up playing has a cock model or something, or like some cock acronym in it.
Oh yeah, the new fucking Termagants. Sorry, the new Termagants. Not Termagants. By of all things, they look like testicles.
Perfect. I'm glad we get sexually innuendo every game.
They're also full of microplastic, so
they get that from the Mechanicus.
Oh dear.
All right, so next thing up on our list is the art piece. It's the Nords one with the half-naked Nordman yarling all over the throne of bodies. I like it. It's $50.
That picture slaps. Like, I don't know if I'd put it up on my wall, but just in terms of being like evocative art for a faction, like, super.
Yeah, this is kind of like the premier Nords art. When you like see this thing, you're like, yeah, it's Nords. What about you, Aaron?
It's the so I set up the UK Discord, and it's the picture I chose for that. I really like it. I'd have it up on my wall. It's a real pain in the UK because we're not in the EU to get stuff from Parabellum directly.
Oh,
so
really?
I haven't got about so we can get it, but we get hit with tax, and that makes you feel sad. So I haven't got any of the art pieces yet, but I kind of want to get all of them and just have them up on my wall. I'm sure my wife will really appreciate the artistic style of the game. Actually,
you know what you do is you get them and you frame them, so now they're framed so they're fancy, and then you'll be okayed. Like all my poster art from when I was a kid that I still have when I went to cons, it's all framed now because I'm a responsible adult.
Exactly, yeah. I'm
gonna give a controversial ass take on this art that I'm sure I've mentioned in an earlier episode, but I don't care. And that is that series of art and it's the same artist who did the OG box art and has done a lot of art for the game. Their style is I think it looks really nice. I think those pictures all look really great as art prints. I think if you're trying to sell a game, they're a little hard to parse for the most part.
They're very detailed.
It's detailed, but it's in like a really sort of soft style. So it's like everything. I don't want to say blends together, but it's all like it has a very organic quality to it that doesn't it doesn't pop right out at you, you know. So I just think in terms of and this is just so far off from this is totally in the who the fuck cares zone, but I think a different art style for the main art probably would have been good. I mean, this is great art. I think it is better in the realm of being sold specifically as prints or that's the other thing when you go to a digital model is you don't have pages to put just a whole page of art on anymore the way that you used to when you printed physical books. So now there's less they have to find different reasons to find all these pieces of art. But this is the hugest tangent in the world, so you don't have to engage with me about this.
I mean, no,
engagement bait ultimately for the commenters.
I really like I don't want to be controversial. I really like the original art. It was one of the things, but it's really, I know what you mean. It's really stylized. So I looked at it and it really reminds me of the early kind of John Blanche 40k or Warhammer art style.
It does,
and I really like it. But I completely understand. Like some people, it won't be for everybody, and maybe if you're new into the game, maybe it's not. But
I definitely
really like it.
Agree with you. And just sorry, I love to have art conversations. It definitely evokes Blanche in the way that like I see that for sure. But he had a more like a bit more of an more illustrative style that like popped off more, whereas this is more like like these are definitely paintings type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's a sort of a softness to the brushwork that just makes it so it doesn't like you have to like it's something that Bennett like if you come up and examine it, you find all this shit and you're like, wow, this is amazing, but from a distance you're like, this is mush. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Like I don't want to critique the art, but it's just like it is. I find it, and I'm somebody who looks at just a shitload of art of many different styles. Was like, oh, this is a little bit hard to read.
You know what?
Okay.
I get that more from the Spires piece than I do from the Nords or the Dwagom one.
Yeah, that's fair too. That's definitely valid.
I'd say which is my favorite piece. I love there's I think it's the Nords one, the Nords and the Dwegcom one fighting.
Yeah, that's a great one.
One of my favorite pieces, I think.
The duel.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I did that little Dark Age video, I like went and took all of Parabellum's art and then all of Parabellum's minis and art that they put on their Facebook. They have a lot of art. Finding it is the problem. Yeah. But I had probably I know at the end of the day I had about 800 photos and I used about 300 to 400 of them to do that video.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Holy frig.
Yes, and I used almost all the Parabellum art that I found, but there is a lot of it. Well, especially the good stuff. Some of it's a lot like these are there's like, you know, the Merc crossbow picture of them in the corner kind of. It's like, whatever. Like, but they're like the hyper detailed stuff, like the duel and these art posters. Like I used a lot of those as well. I do like. I might pick this up. Next thing we got is the Spires one player starter set. Or sorry, it is the one player. It's the 2 boxes combined. So it's the 1 player starter and then the 5th anniversary box. I think this is actually a great deal. And also great minis that you want as a Spires player. Kind of gives you everything you need to play the game as Spires.
Yeah, I mean the Spires 5th anniversary is definitely one of the best.
You know what it doesn't give you to play the game?
I mean,
dice.
Jesus.
Checkmate.
Dice.
Fuck me then. Oh.
Yep.
you just throw little pieces of paper, write 1 to 6 on, and
I just have a spinner.
That's how we play. I don't know what you do.
I hate these regional metas.
Yeah. House rule and everything.
But yeah, I mean, it really leads you down one way. I think with the Avatar, but I think it's one of the best ones. Maybe the second best. I think might be the second best one.
Well, the Avatar like Warband 5th anniversary box is just super good for what it's offering. Like double Avatar, Centaurs, and Incarnates. Yeah. Just that's a great warband.
Yeah. And
then you fill it out with the High Clones warband of Bound, Vanguards, Marksmen, and Brute Drones. You can add in like a couple extra little things, and you got a 2K list like super easy, and it's going to be super good.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you buy this, there's only a couple other purchases. You're probably buying a Ferromancer, some more Incarnates, Strix, and you kind of have a really good list.
Yeah, but then you've got to build the Strix, and that is the worst.
Well, that's what you get for playing Spires.
I know. So I have 24 Strix, and it's awful.
Yeah, well... Yep.
Hey.
I have 3 boxes of Gilded Legion to build, and I'm not excited for that either.
Play Spires games, win Spires prizes.
Yeah.
It's true. Let's see here. Wadroon starter. Did we ever go over this one?
No, I don't think so. I was just looking at it. I mean, so it's a good start. The second box sort of shores up a lot of the problems that are inherent to the first box, which is it's just too darn light heavy. if you want to get started with Wudrun, there's a lot worse that you could do, but it's also like Thunder Riders and Raptor Riders are both visually very compelling, but gameplay-wise not in a very exciting place at the moment. So, it is what it is. Like I'm sure after the rework, this will be anyone who bought this will be very happy that they did. But right at the moment, it's hard in general to be like get excited about Wudrun.
Yeah, Aaron, what's your thoughts on the Wudrun box or boxes?
Yeah, more or less agree. No, I haven't got it up in front. In fact, once I'm going to open it up. Bear with me. This is wonderful. Oh no.
And you know what? Take your time
Fantastic.
because we screw up like this, and then people applaud the realness.
Yeah.
You know what the worst is? I can't. Oh, there it is. Oh, I scrolled past it like 3 times. Yeah, I mean the old one, like Cass said, really light heavy, and the new one. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have 6 Raptor Riders, which is probably fine. You get the... is it Veteran? Right, it doesn't really matter because Veterans are quite good. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good place to start.
I think
they're definitely...
Veterans have come around a lot more as the meta's developed, like the loss of light scoring, how kind of people getting better at chanting has worked. Like, Veterans have kind of started to prove their worth a little more. They are still expensive for points, but they are good.
It's not I mean, let's call it what it is. The situation, like, Veterans didn't get better. The situation got worse.
Okay, that is very fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think like people in the UK seem really really happy with Raptors as they are. You know, I'm not playing Wudrun at the moment, so I just kind of kill them.
Yep.
Which is the general game plan, but Thunder Riders, I don't know, it's unfortunate. I love the models. I have 6 of them sat unpainted in my my cabinet because I was really excited to play them, and then they lost Mantle, obviously. So no, I don't play them. But yeah, I mean, hopefully
they all do well.
Yeah, they're not far off. I don't think they're far off being playable. I mean, they're obviously playable. I don't think they're far off being good. I think hopefully they'll get there. You know, I think they need a few tweaks.
Yeah, they did too good in some metas, and
paying for their crimes against humanity. Yeah. They kind of remind me like where Crimson Towers are in 100k, but now it's Thunder Riders and Wudrun. Like, they're almost there, but they just need something. And like the Return of Mantle would probably do it, but it doesn't seem like the way Parabellum wants to go. I don't know. Like, there's the rumor that there's a Wudrun rework coming. I'm hoping that it's good. You know, Wudrun gets better. They rework the chanting system. They buff up a couple of these things, and you know, everything works out. But it just really sucks for a lot of Wudrun players right now, as they are have to deal with just waiting on a rework where they know something is coming.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a rumor. I was going to say I don't think it's a rumor. Like, I think Leo did say, didn't he, on the happy hour? Like, it's definitely coming. You're definitely getting a Wudrun rework.
I mean, they just need to make Shock apply across the board, and then the army's fixed.
Shock OP.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, what else? But then again, so UKGE, you see that we had a few Wudrun players, but James, who also does Just Roll Ones with me, didn't play, and he's a very good Wudrun player. And neither did other Jamie, who has been on, I think, the other podcast from the UK. Joshua Manganea. He's been on that. Yeah, he's been on that recently, and he's also a very, very good player who also didn't play in this. So I think they're probably towards the weak end, but I still think they're very good. And they also look the best. I think they're the best looking army.
Yeah,
their aesthetic is what got me into Conquest. So.
Yeah, I do like them. I've thought about playing Wudrun, but their aesthetic, like, I like them. Their aesthetic just doesn't speak to me on the same levels as the other factions in the game do.
Wudrun curious is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm a little.
I just noticed that one of the slingers isn't all the way on his base in the promo photo for.
That's because they don't fucking fit. It's the worst.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not supposed to just tip that.
No, look, they've hired. You know,
lining up Strix and lining up Slingers is like, honestly, like, as people who play the game, we shouldn't even say this where new people can hear about it, because that's a misery that people should have to suffer on their own.
Yeah.
They should know about it in advance. It tells you if you look at detail in the picture. I believe it was a Dwag home. I think it might have been Warden's. If you look at the Warden picture closely on their store, some of the Wardens are like cut in half, so they like digitally rendered them in to be there, and then cut them in half so they would fit nicely if you just looked at it.
Fantastic.
And I only noticed it when I had to like cut out Wardens for a meme.
We live in a simulation.
Or maybe it was Flame Berserkers. It's one of the two.
There's no reality to our existence anymore, and the Warden Photoshop is
That's the
proof
last
of that
straw.
to me.
Yeah.
So there's I just noticed there's two more things. There's the Hashin and the Hashashin and the Cultists and the Lineage Prideborn and Leonar Avatara. Do you guys want to talk about this, or do you want to, Aaron? Do you want to talk about UKGE?
Yeah, no, we can do. I think we can talk about them. The Lineage Prideborn are sick.
They the minis or the character, or sorry, the regiment or the character?
Both.
I do agree.
I don't think I'm allowed to have opinions about them.
No. You could sexualize this one. It's not in Spire's chat.
Spire's chat has already done it. You're way behind.
Yeah, I already looked at the feet.
I have a go-to joke that I don't even think I've explained fully or expressed fully in our Discord. That's like probably too hot for the podcast.
If it's really that bad, I will timestamp this and bleep it out.
Perfect. Because every time, I don't know if you've ever seen the pause at you memes, or if that's something that's specific to like the circles that I rolls in. But every time I look at that lineage, like the Prideborn, the character, I'm always just like, 4 legs paw jump while you choke me with your human arms.
Oh my god!
I told you.
Holy fuck! You know what? The listeners can suffer.
I love that. That's perfect. I was fully expecting that to be like a no, I'm removing that.
Like, that's super fucking close to be removed. I started looking at this as you were talking about that fucking joke, and I'm like, wow, this cat tug and like the I'm like, is this just a furry? Like,
it's definitely a furry.
Yeah, I'm like, man, Parabellum, calm down on your furriness.
No, Parabellum, what you're doing is perfect.
I mean, it's going to be getting a different demographic of players into the game. And
if so, you make her the baseline, I'll get a ton of girls into this game.
I mean,
well, Karl's getting this, and like 1 or 2 of the regiment. I'm like, man, Karl's a furry.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yep. Expose.
Is there stats on this thing? Is this thing even out on the app?
It should be. Let me check. I think it is.
Yeah, I gotta go. Oh yeah, it even has a picture. Yeah, this thing is mean for shooting.
Yeah.
Hunter kill teams. Oh, prey. So friendly cav can charge it with +2 for impacts. Oh, that's super nice for your centaur Avatara. Or your
learn another fucking asshole unit that the Spires have.
Yeah, or your lineage Prideborns, because they're impact 3 base. You can only have 2 of them, and the character is AP2 with deadly shot, barrage 4, range 14 with volley 3. Wow. Oh, for the duration of the battle, character stands hunter killer team special changes as follow. The fuck? So the lineage has it innately, but then the warlord ability gives it to changes it? It doesn't change it though. Am I just blind?
It gives it
fucking weird.
I I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the same rule. That's weird. Okay, sure.
That might be a mistake.
Yeah, that's weird. But anyway, like it's a really good gun. Also, this thing fucks in melee if you ever get close to it.
Yeah. You can. You mean if you wanted, you could put it in with some Centaur Avatar, and then you can trigger Hunter Killer, and then you can entourage into your Centaurs, which is nice too.
No, because she would shoot with the regiment.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, she can shoot, and then they can charge.
Yeah. Well, and also like with Centaur, well, then you're only like looking for like a 9-inch charge or.
Yeah.
I hate this dog shit game. Give me something good.
Yeah, you got to be Spires to get all the good shit. Like, even then, the regular Lineage Avatar Barrage 3 AP2 with Deadly Shot at range 14 still have that Volley fucking 3, and they're fluid. Yeah, no, this is ridiculous. 4 wounds, though, so at least they're not like wound 5 for some reason. Wouldn't put it past Spires, not gonna lie on that one. But yeah, this is gonna be a super good shooting regiment. Are they mediums or heavies?
The mediums, I think.
Yeah, my 100 Kingdoms tiers, they're going super hard right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm crying in 2 languages right now.
And then what was the other? Oh, so you said the Old Dominion stuff too.
Yeah, there's the Hahashin and the what the heck is it? The cultists. Hahashin.
Finally, the lead assassins come to.
Yeah, I mean, no one's going to play them, so you don't need to worry. But the others are all right, I think.
I don't even see them on here. I'm looking at the shop.
You gotta like click on pre-orders, and then it opens up another tab, and then you gotta scroll down a little bit, and they're like right beside the Talos under pre-orders.
Oh, I never knew that.
Into this.
I never knew that was a thing you could do. Where's I don't even know. I don't have an option for pre-orders.
So you just open up the e-store, it's the first thing. There's like pre-orders, it's this banner, and you click on it, and then you go right.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
And then it has all the pre-order stuff.
Man, I never knew this was here. This is wild.
Yeah, that's what you get for working night shift.
Yeah. I think the cultists are alright, though I think now with
decent.
Yeah. Oh, they all look, to be fair, they both look really sweet, and I love the paint jobs on them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they look really good. I think that the cultists, it's hard to say because now legionaries are so cheap that I don't really know that you want but they're light, so maybe you want to come on early. I don't know. Maybe
but even then you're not worried about it because that +1 to reinforcement rolls. Like you're gonna just bring on a ton of mediums turn 2 anyway because you're rolling on 3 down. Like that's super big. Like that's 1.15 Imperial Officer supremacy. Like I got a ton of work out of that one, and it was super strong.
It's crazy that they just let Old Dominion be Nords.
Yeah, and it's just like.
I mean, I mentioned this when we get into the games from the con, but like, yeah, it's wild how Old Dominion now have such a ridiculous early game.
Yeah, and it's a ridiculous early game with like you're basically taking your mediums and bringing them on early.
Yeah.
So then, like regular lights that are not Dweghome lights versus those mediums just kind of get bullied, and then you just bring in your heavies early on. Like you're basically bringing on your stuff. A turn earlier than you would normally be with Old Dominion kind of right now. Like, roughly, this isn't like, as the listener, this isn't like, this is the solid facts. No, this is like roughly kind of what's going on and how it's going to translate from rules you read to like what kind of happens on the table and as you play it. Like, all the stuff that Old D has just kind of comes on a turn earlier than it should or has any right to.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one unit comes on far earlier than it has any right to.
Yeah, the Praetorian block.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think in their current state, they're almost certainly going to be fine-tuned in the near future, and that might open up the weed killers and the cultists to be more attractive options. But
100-point Legionnaires for what they're doing. I don't think you take cultists. Hahashin. You might. I think Hahashin's like a tech piece, or if you really want lights out on turn 1, but I don't, as an Old Dominion player, like you got the... I think it's the Curate. The Curate. You don't give a shit. The Curates just rip people apart.
Yeah, they are.
So, there's that.
Maybe in the future there'll be like a sweet Hierodeacon, like living Old Dominion list. and then everyone will enjoy playing that instead.
Yeah, then they can take Resolve.
Exactly, that's fine. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll take one unit, so whenever anyone complains about Resolve, I'll be like, well, this unit takes Resolve.
Yeah, and it's like hiding in the back.
About? Yeah, just shoot them.
All right, should we get on to UK? It's not a GT. You said it was like it's not.
So it's the UK gaming expose, I think.
So UKGX.
GE, I think it is, but I don't remember what the E stands for.
It's okay.
Extravaganza.
I'm changing the channel name again. There we go.
The UK Games Extravaganza, I've decided.
I'm going to call it the Urge.
UKGE.
The UKGE.
But yeah, it was really enjoyable. I don't know, so how do you want to do this, yeah.
Let's start off from the top. What did you play?
So I played a really imaginative list.
Okay.
Which was cool. So I played Spires and I played Under Spires.
Oh god.
And because I'm not a savage, I give my lists interesting names. So mine was called Skin and Drones. And I played a Ferromancer Warlord, obviously being Under Spires. With so this is some really secret tech. I had 2 units of Strix, both of 3 stands. I then had a block of 5 brute drones and a block of 3 brute drones. The Ferromancer, of course, has avatar projection and attracting pheromones for its mastery, so it gives them flank. And I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty certain I did not remember they had flank in a single game for the whole of the UKGE. I then had a second warband, which was the High Clone Executor. He was in a block of 11 drones, and he had Cascade and Degeneration, giving them aura of 4. Suppress Pain, which is Bastion, and Disperse, which gives them loose formation. Now, I'm going to complain about Aura of Death later on, but it's okay when I do it. Okay, I've decided that's it. And he had also a unit of Marksman clones, which were 5 stands.
5.
5 stands of Marksman clones. And then my Lost Warband, I had a Biomancer with Master of Flesh, which allows him to do 2 Biomancies.
Mm-hmm.
A unit of Bound Clones, which he sat in. Really, because Desolation drones weren't out, and also they're not mainstay, which makes me sad. And then my final unit was just a block of 3 Incarnate Sentinels, who were just kind of about to hit things, I guess. Importantly, my Biomancer had a Blade of Flesh, which allows him to ignore the first wound in a duel.
Blade of Flesh.
Ablative Flesh.
Ablative Flesh.
I think it just means extra flesh.
He's extra fleshy.
So that was my list.
I found it. Nice. I come up to 1990.
Oh, so I can send it to you now. I might be the.
I just built it in the army build as we went over it. I'm like, it's roughly this stuff.
Quick. You maniac! You're a conquest savant.
There you go. I'll put this in.
I know this is list.
Yeah, madness. There you go. I put it in the chat.
There we go.
But yeah, very really secret tech. No one's ever played a list like this before. I have to say, it was so much nicer playing this list than it was playing City States.
I'm not surprised.
I tried playing them.
That's what I'm missing out on. The command banner on the Bound Clones.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Did it. Nice.
That was very important for their charging in the game.
Okay, because so what's your main faction? Like, I believe you and I have kind of talked a bit. I know you like to bounce around a little bit for factions, especially like when there's like a big tournament coming up. You're like, oh, what should I play? Because I've seen you kind of like talk to some of the guys about that. But what's the faction you mainly play? Is it City States?
I mean, so there are 8 factions in the game, right?
Yeah.
And so I've got 8 factions that I own.
Oh.
At the so this is an interesting one. I think we've released this episode of the podcast. I've meant to. If we haven't, I better check. But so in the last episode of the podcast, I agree. Just Draw Ones. I agreed with James that I would let them randomly pick a faction for me to play for the following year.
Oh boy!
Out of the 8, now David, who's one of the UK locals, picked, and he picked Old Dominion out of a hat completely randomly. So I'm on the fence, though. I did agree to do this. However, I feel like everyone's going to whinge if I play Old Dominion the next year.
Well, hold on. Current Old Dominion is very strong, and you'll be fine. But when Old Dominion gets some more development, let's say 6 months from now, you might not be fine anymore. Or you're going to be good enough where that difference doesn't actually matter. So
there's two. So I played. So to be fair, my main faction probably, so since I've started playing, would probably be Old Dominion. The faction I played the most. I kind of threw my Vattel out of the pram about a year ago because I kept playing Old Dominion. I kept coming second in events because I would lose a game to someone who just had lots of shooting. And Old Dominion, especially before, but even now, their biggest weakness is shooting.
Yep.
And because I could have improved the list. I didn't really play with carries, but I just felt like I didn't have any reach into my opponent. So I kind of lose it. There was one game in particular I played where I think it was only a 1,500 point game, so it was a bit smaller than what we'd normally expect. But my opponent had 10 stands of marksman clones, and he just shot my list off the board by turn 4. And I was like, well, this is very unfun. So I thought I would play City States, which I do enjoy. But then I figured I'd pick Spires up. But I do really enjoy Old Dominion. Yeah, but the two things, like you said, either they're going to be really, really powerful. I think we probably, do you agree? I think they are probably the best faction on average at the moment.
I would.
I don't think.
So let's say on a local a local scene, you got you and your buddies, playing, doing whatever. You're not thinking about high-end tournaments. You're not thinking about LGT. You're not thinking about the ERC. You're not thinking of Depticon or LVO. You're not thinking about that. You're just playing. It has a lot of built-in protections for a newer player or someone who just plays once or twice a month. The no resolve, things getting stronger, and just if you kind of learn the game and then Old Dominion's playstyle and just kind of follow their plan in quotes, you're going to perform well because you're just here, take my legionaries, they have died. Oh, they powered up my bone golems and my variant, your heavies, and then they just chew through everything, and the reduction of resolve, meaning you take 25% less damage, kind of carries you through. So at a local scene, I very easily see Old Dominion being strong, but versus players who are expecting and want to play, gotta know they gotta play into Old Dominion, who are looking at those higher end tournaments and that's where they're going, they're going to be prepared for Old Dominion. It was the same thing with Dweghome about a year ago, where Dweghome was very powerful, but it wasn't doing super well at high end tournaments because those players were prepared for Dweghome and what it can do. It's the same thing.
On a local level, I feel like right now, Old Dominion, they've always kind of had this problem, but if they're the big problem in an area, it's gonna really skew the meta, which I know is to some degree true for any faction, but just because playing into OD is so different. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over everybody as well, but just because it is so different in terms of the threat that they pose and how you have to deal with it, a dominant OD player with them in this power level against low and moderate skill players is going to have an outsized effect, whereas experienced players will mostly keep it in check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think you're fine, man.
Me too. I think, but there's kind of two things, and I don't want to sound really power gamery about it.
Do it.
No, well, it's the same. Either they're going to be really, really good, and I kind of want to play the same faction for a year. I've hopped around quite a bit, so your example there, in my local area where I play, there are quite a lot of newer players, and we're getting more, which is fantastic. So I don't really want to just be turning up with Old Dominion, because that's kind of, I guess, maybe a negative play experience for them for their first few games. But also, like you said, we don't really know where they're going to end up, and I think it was Cass mentioned before, there's a few things that might be hit and be changed. It's like I don't know if I really want to start playing the faction when I think there's going to be some big changes. So I may end up reneging on this, and if I do, I will play Sorcerer Kings. I'm currently playing them in a online tournament at the moment. Because everyone there seems to be an opinion around that they're not very good. And I think Sorcerer Kings are really bloody good.
So I know Cass and I did the Sorcerer King episode, and we hit Bloodlust, and it was basically like, please get rid of this Parabellum, and then Parabellum did. So I'm like, I don't want to go back and redo that episode just for a Bloodlust change, because viewers should be capable to go and be like, okay, these are the opinions, here's the change, take that out, readjust, and so on. Like, I don't know, maybe we'll come back to it and do a footnote at some point, but Sorcerer Kings, they had two problems. One was Bloodlust, what they got rid of, thank goodness. The other one was rituals, and how you gain those ritual markers, and the rituals available of how powerful they were, and like how there was only basically one good one in each element. I don't know if that's changed, but I do know that the ritual marker cost has gone down, so it does help them. I do think there's stuff now with Sorcerer Kings that is viable. There's still like some trap picks. I don't think Windborn Djinn, the shooty Djinn, are worth it. I still think they're too expensive for what they're doing. But like, I will
say this now, they are garbage. They are absolutely rubbish. Like, and I will die on this hill. They're not good. Don't play Windborn Djinn. Like, the other Djinn are good. Is it Steelheart?
Yeah, it's the Cleave 2 guys.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, because that's your AP. That's your AP tool in your faction. Like, them flame, the two Fire Djinns or Referent are great. Goals, or as I've dubbed them, the Gals. Yeah, I'm not super excited about them. Even still, that they had a little bit of a buff. Like, I still think they're hot garbage for what they're trying to do. But it's gotten better though. Like, they're playable. And you can do well with them, and you can do stuff with them. They're not like an auto win if you're ever playing into Sorcerer Kings kind of thing.
They're light, and you can make them score with one of the sorcerer spells, which is a nice, I guess, a nice combo you can do, as always give you some early scoring.
Yeah. So I think they've come around. I think they're on like par like level of power with City States. The next couple,
think they're better than City States.
Do you think they're better?
Yeah, I think they're very good. No,
even with the Chariot and Talos coming out of the bucket?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but City States are really good. So
these are the hot takes that people come here for.
Yeah, really.
No, I was really down on them. I think if anyone listens to the Just For One episode, I was quite down on Sorcerer Kings as well. I tried not to be. I try and be generally positive on our upbeat, positive episode. But, and then I played, I think, has Ben been on your podcast? I know he's been on your YouTube channel.
He has, but he's been in like group episodes. If you want, I can go drag him out for a solo cast.
Get him in here right now.
Do you want me to? Like, I can see if he's available. Be like, what you doing?
He'd be really good to talk to about Sorcerer Kings. So, like I said, I thought they were bad. And then I played against Ben, and he absolutely savaged me with them. He uploaded the video to his YouTube channel.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, there's something here. And so I've started playing them. I've only played a few games with them, but I really enjoy it. But also, I think they're really, really strong. They can pump out quite a bit of damage, but they're a weird faction to play. They're very like peace tradey, tempo-y faction. So they don't have. Yeah.
So Wizard Nords. Yeah, that explains. If you told me, okay, that explains a lot actually.
Basically, Wizard Nords. Yeah. Because I mean, the Vaxasha is just gross with its threat range, so it can like move, charge, clash after the elemental, but it's like a 22-inch threat.
Jeez.
I think it's even longer. Sorry, no, that's a lie. It's not quite so far. Sorry, if it move charges, it has a really long threat. But if it charges a unit of the character, which is its ideal target, I think is it 7 plus 7 is 14 plus 3 plus 1. So it's like an 18-inch minimal threat range on a charge to a unit of the character, which is crazy.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that where like the Rashaska, fuck me, Basically, the two monsters that are really good, and I like the tiger a lot. Just for what he's doing, and I think those are really good. And there are tools, and I'm glad that Sorcerer Kings is kind of getting like turned around as play is happening. It's not like a point and click faction like some other ones. Like Dweghom's kind of a point and click faction if you really want to look at it. And like Old Dominion, kind of the same thing. Like you have a certain game plan, and if you don't deviate from the plan, you're probably going to be fine. So while Nords and I guess now Sorcerer Kings, as you've explained them, like you gotta do a lot more thinking, more finesse.
I mean,
geniuses only.
That's why I want to play them. Really, I want to feel like I'm smarter than everybody. That's why I want to play Sorcerer Kings.
Well, you are the assistant dean to the regional dean, so you've beaten both of us.
I was going to say, when was he playing? I believe I'm playing on Friday.
Yeah, I'm bringing
so
my. Are you playing Sorcerer Kings?
I'll play Sorcerer Kings.
Okay, because I was going to bring a meme Horse Lord list to you because I was too lazy.
Free. It made me feel clever.
Yeah. Ben only Ben hates Ben hates that I just like grab meme lists and play them, but he's just like, oh, I gotta do them because someone's gonna play it, and I'm like, yeah, me. So I was just gonna play a meme Horse Lord listed to you and be like, perfect. I'm glad we have immediately gone off topic.
Exactly, to how great Sorcerer Kings are.
Well, it's good.
Back to this year.
Yeah.
Back to lame Spires, I guess. I love Spires.
That's good. So, why? So you've explained the list. For people who, as we got off track, Ferromancer, double Strix, double Brute, Avatar Projections to sit in the Brute, High Clone in a block of Force-Grown Drones with Bastion and Disperse, 5 Marksmans, Biomancer in a unit of Bound with 3 Incarnates. Perfect. Why?
How much?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
I say, how much detail would you like me to go into for how the list plays? But then I think you were about to ask a question.
Well, my first question is, what was your list development like? Why did you pick these things?
So, I think I was going to mention earlier when we were talking about the Spires boxes. So, one thing I do really like about Spires is you kind of, the way I look at it, you kind of get different, I'm forgetting the word now, but like different discrete packages that you can take. So realistically, I could probably swap out one of these warbands for a Lineage Tideborn warband, or going forwards, maybe like a Lineage Prideborn warband, and it would work, more or less. But so I really like Underspires, and that's because I really like 2 rules. I really like Regeneration, and I really like Horror of Death, and also Lethal Demise. I was a black-green player in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I know.
So these are kind of it's kind of like my thing. So I really like that thematically. And so I started off obviously with the Ferromancer Warlord. The Ferromancer is really good in brutes. So take the Ferromancer, put him in tap projection, and put him in my big block of brutes of 5. And now because of how Ferromancers work, where you reveal the card, you put it at the bottom. I want to really be doing my Ferromancers on that big block of brute drones that he's in. So I need a second unit of brute drones just to put to the bottom of the stack. So then I can double stack them and I can activate into his unit of brute drones. I then got 2 units of Strix because Strix are awesome. They're 10-inch move. Flyers with Lethal Demise, Clash 2, which Clash 3 on the charge on Strix just feels unreasonable, I think, when I was playing them. Like, they're really, really good. Also with Regeneration 4 from the Underspires, like, they can't really be shot down unless someone's, really having to focus on them. So they're a great kind of screening harassment unit. I then, after I'd taken that, I've kind of got that block of 5 brute drones, but then I felt like I needed a bit more of an anvil for the faction to kind of focus around. So then I've got my big block of, in true Spires fashion, I've got my unit of 11 Force-Grown Drones.
What was
the High Clone Executive?
What was Dave's Force-Grown Drone limit?
Oh god, I think when I played him at LGT, it was like 23.
All right, so you're halfway there.
Yeah, I'm not even close, and I'm never going to get that close. That's ridiculous. So I think he only played something like 18 or 15 at this event.
Oh, he realized that he had too many and he just put points elsewhere.
He couldn't fit them in the list. There's just so many of them. Like, where you meant to put them?
Couldn't get them all on the table. There were so many.
Exactly. And I know as well, he was 18. He played 18 four-screen drones.
Oh my god!
This time, so he toned it back a little bit.
Jesus.
But so yeah, all of their four-screen drones is fantastic, and also giving them Bastion and loose formation is amazing. Loose formation is awesome.
Remember,
it
was an afterthought for Karl.
But it's basically makes them unshootable. It's fantastic. And with Regen 4, one kind of scornergy they have Bastion and also Regen 4. So normally you're Bastioning, but sometimes you get a nice heal off and you get a stand back. So that's quite pleasant.
Well,
and then
even then, if you are on one wound with a stand, getting 3 your health back, it still counts. You'll get it all back eventually.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, so if the block isn't going to be in combat or attack that turn, you just get some wounds back. So it's nice to always have a relevant draw event you can pick between. And then honestly, the real core of the list is the 5 stands of marksman clones. Yep. So they're the unit that really you get all of your damage from. I've got incarnate sentinels as well, which are nice. They're kind of like a big kind of brute you just throw into things. Really, what I do with it, I'd either be covering a flank or just throwing it at a zone to contest it and see what happened. But your marksman clones are 22-inch range with Barrage 5. Volley 2, so you can aim up to Volley 3. And if you can get them on a hill, that's even better. But the Biomancer then, he's essentially every turn going to be he does Unstable Enhancement, which gives them +2 to their march, which comes up a lot more than I was expecting it to, and then +1 to their volley, and then decay. But decay doesn't matter because you just heal them back, and then you do. Oh no, is it essence transfer? Yeah, essence transfer, which just basically lets them activate. So I mean essence transfer. I don't, do I?
So
you do grant virulence first, which gives them deadly shot. Mm-hmm. And then your unstable enhancement, which means you get to activate them immediately. And so then you go through the marksman clones, you do your shooting, you roll decay, you then go back to the Biomancer, who gets to mend flesh and heal them after the decay roll. So that's nice.
Jesus, yeah, I hate marksman clones. They're so mean.
Yeah,
longbows are 2 extra inches, but I'm like, man, they just died of marksman. There's just too many shots.
Well, so that's the way. If you ever face a list like this, another Spires list, or a Spires list with a lot of marksman clones, the way to beat it is just to kill the marksman clones, because as soon as they're dead, they lose so much of their damage output.
Yeah. So this gets actually to my next question: what is the order that you want things to die in?
I mean, realistically, I think you want the Strix to die first.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully doing some lethal demise, though. If they can last into the late game, they can be really annoying for your opponent. And then I guess I just want the drones, the 4-screen drones, to die slowly as you shoot over them and do damage with the marksman clones. What do I want to die last? I mean, ideally, the marksman clones and the block of 5 brute drones would be the last things that died, that were left on the table. But if the marksman clones can put their damage out, once you're kind of ahead of your opponent, it doesn't really matter if they die too much. If they've kind of if they've done their work, then you can just throw them onto a zone because they're medium. Use them to block to points at the end of the game. But yeah, realistically, you want the brutes to die first. Sorry, the drones to die first, or the Strix.
No, that's good. Yeah, and then basically the reverse of that is what you don't want to die first. What are your targets? What is stuff you want to see on the table as when you and your opponent pull up, and what are things you don't want to see on the table when you and your opponent play off?
So, you don't want to see. So you don't really want to see a really fast army, because that's what they generally tend to struggle with. But so I personally think Wadroon is quite a bad matchup for them. Now, so I beat Wadroon in the event, but I think they're a tricky matchup because they are also fast.
Mm-hmm.
But as well as that, they're also their light units are fairly sturdy. So, you know, it's the Strix can't just charge into a unit and kill it. You know, so like the Slingers, for instance, are fairly a good counter for something like Strix.
Oh yeah, getting hit and then taking resolve damage.
And it kind of comes down to, at that point, it comes down a bit to winning supremacies, which is part of the game, but it's not a part of the game you kind of want to be in when you're trying to play the tournament, because I think if you're playing over 5 games, you're not always going to win that supremacy role. So I would say Woodrune is. I don't really. I'm probably unreasonably scared of Apex Predators, but they just seem really good.
Well, you got 3 brutes in here, so they got 3 primary targets in your list, while into some other factions they might have to chew through a bunch of infantry to hit the monsters, or the faction just doesn't have monsters or brutes.
They're hard to screen as well, because obviously it's a monster stand. They can get through gaps that other units aren't able to.
Oh, for sure. Clever girl.
Yeah, exactly. And as well, that Nords. Not a huge fan of Nords because, again,
no one's. If you have a good Nord player in your meta, I don't have a solution for you, to be honest.
No, I think what I find hard with this list is if your opponent can outscore you in the early game and basically then just hold you off of objectives, then they're probably going to win. But I mean, at the moment, maybe I don't want to see Old Dominion, though. I think that's probably probably no more than anybody else. Just because they have a lot of early game scoring, so it's that Praetorian block. So we'll come to it. We talk about the games, but the Praetorian block is really hard to deal with, or at least I found it hard to deal with in my games against Old Dominion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you have the 5 standard marksman clones to really lay into somebody.
Yeah, so that's it. So if the marksman clones can do their work over a few turns, then that's great, and then it stops your opponent from scoring, and that's really what you want to do with them. If your opponent is able to start scoring before you can do work with the marksman clones, then they can kind of score up on you. It depends on the scenario as well. So. Certain scenarios I think are a bit easier for you to. I think the more zones, the better for this list. I think because you can maybe cover over a few more zones.
Grind them down, declined flank, foresight. Though, I also tend to find Spires really likes having those options where they could, because Spires is actually quite quick with your Biomancies and Ferromancies, especially from the Ferromancer speeding up people. You can get places really quickly. That's what I've been noticing a lot of Aspires as I've had to suffer into them. No, that's
I think saying that they're personally factions I would rather not play into, but I do think this list has game into any list. It has better and worse matchups, but I think you could play this list into anything and be fine. It always inevitably comes down to player skill, I think, in the games.
Spires is one of those factions that has what I've kind of noticed. It has a couple builds that are lower skill floor, if you're playing Lineage. But when you start grabbing all the other stuff you have with the Ferromancer, Biomancer, and High Clone, you start getting into a medium skill floor and then a high skill ceiling. So your skill with the list and with the faction will really come through in your games. Just by how good you are, the faction will help you immensely because of all its tools.
I change it. What I don't want to play is a Spires mirror match. Because all you end up with at the moment is one big block of Force-Going drones with Aura of Death against another big block of Force-Going drones with Aura of Death.
Oh my god.
And you're constantly just fighting with each other to try and get your block of Force-Going drones further down the list so your opponent triggers Aura of Death first.
And then they're regenerating.
And then they're yeah, so...
But you can't shoot them because they have Disperse.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So that's it.
All right,
I'm really proud of my Spires game. I'm going to... When we talk about that, I had a great Spires game.
Okay, well, before we get into the rounds, first off, how was the venue?
So, basically, this is a big... It's a board game convention, mainly. But it's a lot of board games, card games, and war games. And so it's at the UK game, the NEC, sorry, the National Event Centre, I think is what it stands for, in Birmingham. Mm-hmm. It's a really nice venue, and if you're ever over in the UK at that time and you're kind of into like nerdy board games and stuff, it's a really good event to go to. It's really kind of big, so it's like a concert venue. It's where they have a lot of big conventions. And so it's really airy. The food is far too expensive, but that's a con problem.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
The actual gaming space is like out at the back, so it's away from all the vendors. So yeah, it's really nice. I can't fault the venue at all. This is a little bit more on the expensive side, though. I guess actually that's comparing that to tournaments rather than conventions. Last year I helped out at the stand for PB, and so I really like the UK Games Expo. What I didn't like this time though was that. I think I've said on my podcast. So my wife and I have just had our second child, who is now about 4 months old.
Congratulations!
And so thank you. But so I wasn't going to be able to go for the whole weekend. But I was kind of like, it's a Friday. So it was a one-day event. It was 4 rounds on a Friday. And I was like, I'd normally be at work anyway. So if I took a day off work, would you mind if I drove down to Birmingham and back? Which is about 3 hours away from where I live. So I ended up setting off at about 4 a.m. to get to the tournament venue to play all day, and I left. I think I left at about 8 p.m. So it was a very, very long day.
And then drove another 3 hours.
3 hours back, yeah. So I got back about midnight. But it was a really, really nice day, really nice venue, and a really great group of players as well. So I was really glad I did it.
No, that's really good. Yeah, that's the 4 a.m. rides. Yeah, I get you there. They're always fun.
I'm not a morning person either, so I was like, But,
you should have listened to this podcast, Just Roll Ones. I heard they're pretty good.
Yeah, you know what? I was really frustrated actually because no one had actually released a Conquest podcast.
You know what? You do I don't. It's really funny. People are like, "Oh, there's no Conquest." It's like, guys, I got podcasts and videos usually about a month in advance. Just DM me and I'll send you something.
Well, I still need to listen to one of them. I won't spoil here which one it is, but I still need to listen to one of them that you haven't released yet that I know you have had a link to. So I'm really looking forward to coming out.
Which one is that? Is it I don't know what the fuck I have anymore.
I don't want to spoil it. Mass immediately spoils it.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. It was the one that I think Cass was really excited for.
Oh, that was the faction vibe-based ranking one.
Yeah, vibe breaks rankings.
Yeah, I think that fuck. I'm gonna go look at it.
Yeah, I've got the link to it.
I don't even remember why I'm excited for it now. So
it's because we just had fun.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that with Conquest.
No, exactly. This is a very serious, fact-based podcast.
I'm literally like on the YouTube looking at like the content. It comes out June 28th. There we go. It's not too far.
Nice, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so that one officially comes out June 28th, and then this Friday the 14th. Where are you? 100k list building and hot takes, because I finished off the list building and then halfway I got bored and just started doing hot takes about 100k and fuck it. So that'll come out Friday. This one will then probably come out 2 weeks after the 28th. So all this content will be out by the time this comes out. So I'm not worried at all.
But what I will do is derail the conversation briefly for what I did actually listen to on the way down to Birmingham.
Perfect.
It's a great set of audiobooks that I've been listening to called Dungeon Crawler Karl. And right, you've got to listen to this.
Okay.
So I had this suggested like on a random YouTube video, and it's called Lit RPG. And I thought originally it was going to be like, did you remember those books, like the Choose Your Own Adventure books, when you're like a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like that at all. It's basically a what's the anime term? Is it shonen? It's basically like a guy gets brought into a video game, but it's not like he's teleported into it. Basically, it's a story about a dude who ends up in like a dungeon crawling game controlled by aliens, in his boxers and a dressing gown with a talking cat and a sentient AI with a foot fetish. Like, that's my pitch to you. Like, and that might sound like a few more spoilers, but that's like chapter 1. That's like there's a bit. It's really, really good. So if you like kind of video games and you like fantasy stories, like, I highly recommend it. It's very funny.
I'm looking to order the books right now. Don't worry.
It's yeah. So I've been listening to them on Audible. They're really, really good.
I listen to podcasts. I read the books. Are they all?
Yeah. No, they've got books too.
Good.
They should be paperback ones too.
I might just have to buy these from Amazon. Oh, that's is a rough. I hate dealing with Amazon. Okay, yeah, I will look into
books.
that. Perfect. Thank you.
But yeah, so that was the venue. Yeah, venue was really, really good. And I got there very early, so I ended up waiting in a queue for a really long time.
To get in?
Well, no. So I got in enough, and then I had to wait to pick up my con tickets, and I got there too early. So I'm very like paranoid about getting stuck in traffic or something. So I basically I ended up getting there at, I think about 7. I got there for about 7:00, and I couldn't pick up my con ticket until 8:00.
Oh,
and then the con didn't open until 9. So I did a lot of waiting.
Oh man, yeah, that is a lot of waiting.
Yeah, but it was really good. Yeah, enjoyed the whole day. It was really good.
That's great. So let's start getting into the tournament, like the event. So how many players were there? So they had at least
16.
4 rounds. 16. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so 16 players. Yeah, so we unfortunately we were capped this year. So last year at the UKGE we didn't have many players. It was very new, I guess, in the UK. And so this year we tried to book, or I say Yanis tried to book for like a 2-day like big event, and the venue basically capped us at 16 players. So we were like, okay, yeah. So and then it sold out, I think, in like less than a day. It was super quick that it sold out, which was great. And I think the thing that was really nice. So last year we had London GT, which we're having again this year. We had 24 players at London, and of the 16 players we had, I think there were maybe only 4 or 5 people that were at London. So, you know, the number of players I think we're having around the country is growing, which is really nice to see.
No, that's actually awesome. Nice job, United Kingdoms.
Yeah. So that was really nice. So yeah, 16 players, and we had a really nice spread. I think we had every faction represented. Spires, I think, had the most people, which was 4, which really hurts my snowflake sensibilities of wanting to be unique.
You can blame that on Karl.
I know, yeah. 3 Old Dominion players. And then everything else was, 1 or 2 players. It was a really nice spread of factions.
No, that's great to hear. I know there's been local events, or like locally there hasn't been much Nords, and then when I travel to other Canadian events, there hasn't been much Nords. So like, hopefully, I get to see more Nords.
Yeah, we had 1 Nords. I would play Nords, but my main opponent, where I live, plays Nords, so it just seems silly to pick up the same.
Did they come with you?
No.
Then you should play Nords.
I'm hoping I get some of my locals to come to London with me.
It's only 3 hours.
I know. The problem. So Birmingham, they could do. So Birmingham, I'll convince them next year, but London's hard just because it's so expensive to get somewhere to stay nearby.
I guess so. I traveled to Adepticon and the prices actually weren't that bad for like hotels and stuff, and so and that was only a 13-hour drive. So it was like, yeah, whatever.
So long.
You gotta drive far to go to any place interesting in Canada, like Midwest. Like, you better have an audiobook of Dungeon Crawler Karl. Will probably, you know what? I should just get an Audible and fucking listen to that next time I gotta do a long
really
drive.
Good.
Yeah,
the Audible's really good.
No, I'm glad. Cass, do you have anything to ask, Aaron?
No, I mean not so far. I'm enjoying the discussion without prompting so far. But I mean, if anything leaps out to me, I certainly will. But
no, that's good. You got good audio for your painting.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay, so let's get into round one. What was your opponent playing? If you remember anything interesting about them, most of the time it's just what people are wearing, or if I get a picture of them and it's like their lower half of their body.
My first game was against Lindsay, who's one of the vanguards in, I want to say, the Midlands, but I'm really sorry if you don't consider yourself in the Midlands of the UK. I don't know where that is.
I don't know.
Neither do we.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's like the middle of England, but there's always like controversy about what it actually counts as being in the Midlands. But
Google
she was playing 100. She was playing 100 Kingdoms, and she was playing a kind of a mixed arms list, a combined arms list. So one thing that was nice is she only had 3 Ashen Dawn, which
in total.
Fantastic. In total, yeah.
You got away lucky.
Nice. Yes, yeah. In fact, our other 100 Kings to play only had 4 Ashen Dawn, so that was nice. Yeah, we only had that, a normal number of Ashen Dawn in our event.
Oh, thank goodness!
Unfortunately, that's not a normal number. Unfortunately, that's a very low number.
Yeah, you heard about Adepticon, right?
Yeah, we were really fortunate. But
supposedly, I was the problem about that one.
But yeah, so she got really unlucky in the first round with her reinforcement rolls, and I got very lucky with my reinforcement rolls. So, though I did forget flank, like I said before, like in every other game. But basically, it kind of played out how you'd normally expect it to there. She brought on the Squires, I shot the Squires. She brought on the Ashen Dawn, I shot the Ashen Dawn. Though her Crimson Tower did a real number across my army, so I think it really showed how Crimson Tower can be played really well and can be really impactful. So they really started. I forgot that they hadn't come on yet, so she didn't get them on till turn 5. But they were kind of able to just kind of start sweeping across my army and taking things out as they were going. So it ended up being a really close game. So I think it was 2010. I think with the final score, but it was very close in the end, given that the Crimson Tower could have done a lot more damage, I think, than they ended up doing. She had a noble lord and household guard who kind of met their fate against the Awe of Death drones, who just kind of walked up to them and then they stopped moving forward. I
know the answer to the Awe of Death drones is basically just lead them on. It can't turn, so just run around it. Don't ever fight it.
Exactly. And they basically just moved and sat on a zone for a while. And just blocked scoring. But yeah, the Biomancer did Biomancer things, the Marksman clone shot over. But yeah, really, it was just a really good game. It was a really tight game, and it just ended that I was able to get on the objective sooner. So could kind of just screen her off of them towards the end. So yeah, that was kind of game 1. It was really enjoyable. It's the first time I've managed to play Lindsay in an event. Every other event, I seem to not get paired against her. Also, she has an absolutely lovely painted army.
Nice.
Her 100 Kingdoms are really nice. She's got a really cool conversion with her Noble Lord and with her no, not a sorcerer. That's Sorcerer Kings. Chapter Mage.
Yeah,
where they have like cool wolf stuff on the bases. So yeah, it's a really nice looking army.
Oh, that's
also, I will say, Lindsay also brought cookies for everyone, which was just the best.
No, that's really nice of her to bring cookies and be like,
yeah, it was really nice.
No, that's super sweet. Well, congratulations on your first win.
Thank you.
And like, at any point in the game, were you concerned or worried, or did you kind of have a firm grasp on it and kind of just like played the game plan, won the game, won the round?
Board. Yeah, I was worried when Ash and Dawn first came on, as one is, I think.
Then you realize there's just 3 of them, and you're like, I can handle 3.
Yeah, it took a while. Basically, I ended up shooting them, which obviously is the way you deal with Ash and Dawn.
Yeah, just
as spies, yeah. But no, it was. I was nervous when the Crimson Tower were running across. So basically, I had to turn my whole unit of marksman clones and try and get my drone blocks onto them to stop them really just sweeping across everything. So we ended up. All I had left was my marksman clones sat on the right-hand zone, and I ended up getting my Biomancer on the middle zone with the bound clones.
What scenario were you playing? I don't think that was mentioned.
Great question. Which I think I can check.
Did you take photos?
Maelstrom. I did not. Okay. I forgot to take pictures. But yes, it was Maelstrom. So, and then she had her chapter mage with some crossbowmen, and I think she had. Oh no, she had a unit of what they're called men-at-arms just sat on the left-hand objective where I was looking.
Yeah.
So we just kind of finished up there and scored it out in that. So yeah, it was a really nice first round to play.
No, that's good to hear. Well done on your round 1 win.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice.
Round 2. What was scenario, faction, opponent? What were they playing?
So round 2 was Foresight.
Oh.
And it's the worst scenario ever to be made ever.
Yep.
James is an absolute... So the tournament organizer was my co-host, James, from Just For One. And he's an absolute psychopath for making us play this scenario in an event.
Yeah, no, he's banished.
Send
him up north into Scotland.
So I played against Alex Berry, and he was playing his Woodrune. So it has overall I won 39-29, and I will say I felt a little bad. So I played Alex maybe 2 or 3 days before the event on TTS, and he absolutely stomped me. And so what I did in our game is I just didn't do the stupid things I did in our practice game, and so I won. So kind of turn 1, I think in this game we had fairly even reinforcements. Turn 2, his hunting pack charged my Strix, and he killed himself on Lethal Demise. And then my Strix unbroke and then healed themselves up for the rest of the game. My Strix were also able to do a nice flying charge over, I think, one of his units to charge the Slingers, which kind of blocked those, stopped them from shooting. He charged in some veterans, which I was then able to kill with my, enormous block of Death drones. So really, in this game, I basically collapsed one flank of his on Foresight and take the middle zone. So I basically just sat my big block of 5 brute drones on that middle zone. Though I will say that this is very uncommon for me when I play, because I do tend to kind of be over aggressive. But I moved my big block of 4 square drones backwards to not die. And I think that probably helped to win the game in that case, because I ended up not losing any of my drones, which really helped. He had a big block of Braves, which sat on one of his objectives. So he was scoring consistently with that unit. I just generally ignore that block forever in games against Woodrune. And he had 2 Apexes, which that's when I was worried, because they did start just kind of chomping across one side. Though again, the marksman clones were able to do a big chunk of damage to them. So that was in the end, I felt fairly confident throughout that game. Though I was really grateful that we'd managed to have that practice game beforehand, because otherwise I think I probably would have made all those mistakes in that game instead.
No, that's what the point of practice games are. Like, I would rather lose all my practice games and win the 3 to 6 tournament games, I need to win the tournament. Like that's
Definitely,
the whole point.
yeah.
Like, you played War Machine, I played War Machine. You know that those practice games matter, and in those practice games, you should really be pushing. Like, I'm going to use some War Machine terminology, like your Warcaster, as far forward as you can, and find that like golden line of not too far forward to die, but not too far back where you're not irrelevant.
Yeah,
like that was a very much a skill in War Machine, and it changed per caster for what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
kind of the same thing with Conquest. Like, there's times where I see people like have a regiment and like they don't commit it, and it's like, well, that thing didn't really participate in the actual fight, and it could have. Mm-hmm. And so like now I'm basically playing up, like, let's say 200 points, so you're gonna cascade that way and win. Like, I think you did a great job not taking the bait of the Braves sitting on the zone, like, and just kind of killing everything else. That was smart of you. And then and getting the practice game in is probably, like, as you said, your biggest help, because you understood the matchup much better and reflected on that matchup for next time, and you did it. So well done, man.
Well, I think I was going to say, like, what you said there. If anyone wants to play a list like this, I found with all my practice games that I wasn't getting any work out of my drones. Mm-hmm. And that unit, it's like a 470, like almost a 500 point unit. It's like a quarter of your list. And I found in all of them I wasn't really doing anything with it. And so in all of the games I played this weekend, I literally was just... I might have thrown it up too much. I might have been too aggressive with it. But, I was just running that unit across the board and charging stuff and tying it up and getting in the way of the reinforcements and all of the movement and the blocks of my opponent. And I think that really helped. So I think just, committing your... Like I said before, it's the first thing I want to die anyway. So committing your kind of screening pieces, I think, is a really important thing with this list. Same with the Strix.
Well,
too.
Like, another thing it does, it sets the line of engagement. And if that line of engagement is over the zones, or you control a majority of the board, that's where the fight is going to be for the rest of the game. And I'm going to take that quote off of the Josh Aranea guys. Because it's true. Like, sometimes, don't get me wrong, it changes up and people punch through and it flip-flops back on you, but I don't know, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, you can kind of just set the line of engagement and be like, yo, let's fight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
Well done.
So, yeah, that was a really nice game with Alex. Yeah, really great opponent, really nice guy. I really enjoyed playing with Alex, and I know he's looking for some more TTS games, so you should have him on your channel.
I should TTS it up. It's
yeah.
just gonna be me playing memes into people, because that's all I do. Oh man, it's like mass design a list. It's like, yeah, okay, I got a theme. No, that's well done. So then this is 4 rounds. So now you get into your 3rd round, and I feel like you're gonna be hopefully hitting a. So actually, let's go back to your 2nd round. You were worried about the apexes, and you dealt with them. Was there anything else in the list that you were concerned about? Like, I know you got this practice game in. I assume you were kind of worried about the whole game because you didn't win the practice game.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I lost that game because of the apexes. So I was really wary of them. I was also quite wary of the conquest. So he had Fanatic Conquest slingers, which I know can be really strong. So I may be overcommitted. I don't think. I didn't in the end because I killed them. But I was really heavily trying to push my block of drones. My block of drones job in my head was to kind of get in the way, block for my marksman clones, but also just get across the board and try and kill those slingers, which they did in the end, and they also managed to take out the veterans too, which was a bonus. So and then they kind of got stuck, and then spent like 3 turns trying to turn around.
Go ahead.
But no, as I said, that was it really. So that's kind of what they did on that side. But also the big block of Braves, like. He had them sat on his own, which is probably the right choice, I think. But because it was on one of the side zones, I just had the benefit of being able to ignore them, which is a mistake I've made in other games with the Druids. I've tried to kill that block and just not been able to get through it.
No, I like if there's times where you can set up to fight. I want to say like an anvil. So it's better on your end, like just take the extra time to set up and fight it, or just kill everything else around it and then isolate and kill it. Like that's kind of the way to go. Like it's the same thing with your massive force grown drone block. Like kill that last, or just kill everything else around it so that you can bring on 3 regiments into it at one turn and that'll just devour it. Like you can do the same thing with Ashen Dawn. It's a little tougher because of how late they come into the game and just chewing through everything else and then having enough stuff kind of around to like gang up on one brick of Ashen Dawn. But it can be done. So it's kind of similar to that. Another thing I want to mention, thinking a little bit more into your practice game because of like how much value of the lessons you got out of it. I do find sometimes when there's like a practice game against players before like a major event, the person who lost and really analyzed that game and figured out the kinks in it and like worked it will win that like the next game because they're looking at it more, while the person who won that game will go, oh, I won, here's a couple of things I could have done better, but they're not compensating for the changes that player is going to, like the losing player is going to make when they have to do that rematch. Because they can't see it because they never had the practice into it again. So it kind of like that kind of level of back and forth happens when like 2 players play a lot into each other. So I don't know how many games you get into Alex. Like, hey, maybe I get a practice game like once a month into Alex. So like when I used to play War Machine, a local and we probably played twice a week, and I would get 4 games in a week. And we played like that for like 2 years straight.
Right.
Yeah, so it was, some could say it would be pretty brutal, but like I knew that rep matchup and no rep player could beat me. So, but yeah, I think that practice game like was probably
definitely
like your biggest key to success here, because you just had a list of things to do.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No, that's great to hear, and well done on your second win.
Yeah.
Let's go to round 3. What's the scenario?
So round 3
after
was
shitty foresight.
So this was head to head.
Oh, that's a good one.
And it was a Spires mirror match.
That's not a good one.
No, I'm going to credit myself. I think this is the best play I made the whole tournament, and I'm really proud of it. I was playing a guy I've not met before called Matthew Beer, who I believe is a Vanguard down in the south coast of England. Really, really nice guy. Great opponent. Unfortunately, he plays Spires, though, it happens to the best of us. And he was playing Directorate. So he had a slightly different list to me, though overall it was quite similar. And he hadn't built his Strix yet, so he didn't have any Strix. But he was playing... So in Directorate now, there are 2 things. They get to burn out, which is great, but also you can target your own units that are on objective markers, and he also has a spell that lets light score. And so I hadn't really thought of that when I was kind of looking down the list. So he basically marched his huge block of Awe of Death drones across the board onto my objective, whereas I had set my block of drones on the other side to go onto the kind of the large objective on
the middle
side.
Yep.
Yeah. So really, that it was a really good move on his part, because there's not really anything else on my list that can deal with his big block of drones, because anything else that goes into it is probably going to start dying to the Awe of Death. So what I had to do was I had to do a fantastic charge with my Strix over his screening unit to charge the Biomancer's unit to kill the Biomancer before he could score too many times. I think he scored the zone twice. And I essentially just sent my 2 units of Strix across to kill his Biomancer. Which, when that happened, it meant that big block couldn't score. So he had a big block of lights, which weren't a scoring unit, over across on my objective, that wasn't able to really re-maneuver back into the match. Whereas my big block of drones was then able to, like I said in the Woodroon matchup, just kind of steamroll forward and charge and kill the stuff that was in front of it, leaving the marksman clones there to mop stuff up. So that was, I think, the decider of that game was me being able to kill the Biomancer.
So, what your opponent did to you is dirty, but what you did to counter it is brilliant.
I was really proud of myself.
No, that's a fantastic
play. But taking out the Biomancer was huge. And like he'd screened it fairly well. It was just the fact that obviously the Strix have fly. So, but also if he hadn't, I guess the only way he maybe could have screened better would be to have his unit like directly in front of the Biomancer, so I couldn't fit. But then my Strix just charged the Marksman clones, which probably wouldn't have been as good. But like we said earlier, that kind of takes out his main damage dealing potential. He also got fairly unfortunate with the kind of the matchup with reinforcements, where his Incarnate Sentinels came in across from the Marksman clones, and the Marksman clones just have that extra range and are able to just kind of blink off Sentinels from 22 inches, which was great. So at that point, I controlled the middle of that right hand objective, and just managed to score that out for the game. I don't think I made it onto his objective. I might have right towards the very end, but really it was just scoring that middle objective there. Whilst our drone blocks clumsily tried to reform our ways to relevance towards the end of the game.
No, well done.
Yeah, that was a great game. I really enjoyed that game. When I played.
I feel like that you just power played him. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you with this." You're like, "Oh, you fell into my trap."
Yeah, that was
you
it.
banished his ass to the Shadow Realm.
It was totally pulled that out of my ass because I had literally just forgot that Director could score with light. I hadn't even thought about it.
God, no, that's well done. Like that is such a great play to counter. Because I don't think he would have been able to clear off his Force Drone brick if you didn't.
Not at all.
Yeah, and
that's something I could, just generally speaking, something I noticed in my last game against Spires. I didn't do it, but when I was analyzing it afterwards, it seems like that's potentially, for factions that can do it, a way of getting into some of the stronger stuff in Spires is just to try and assassinate the character.
100%.
It seems like once you get those characters out, a lot of the bottom falls out.
Yeah, that's.
Well, actually, there was a really good moment where eventually, at like turn 9 or something, our drone blocks had managed to turn towards each other and clash in the middle of the table. This was completely irrelevant to the outcome of the game.
Yeah,
our fighting of drone blocks, where our two high clone executors were dueling, and they managed to kill each other in the duel at the same time.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, good. No more cascading degeneration for either of you.
Some point farming we both did there on head to head.
You guys deserve each other. Yeah, it's actually really funny. A lot of ways to deal with Spires is just built in Spires tech. Man, I'm having trouble into Spires. Just play Spires. You already have the tech to deal with yourself. I always find that funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well done. So you're 3-0. You're going into round 4, what is the final round.
Yeah.
And what's the scenario? Who's your opponent? What are they playing?
So the final scenario was melee.
Yep.
And I was playing. Now, I think his name was Ben, and I don't mean to be forgetting it. On Longshanks, it is Facilia, but I'm pretty sure his name's Ben, and he was an Old Dominion player.
Ooh.
From Ireland.
Ooh, he traveled quite a ways. He got there. He had a longer journey than I did, I think, to get there, and his plane was delayed as well in the morning. So he actually flew over the morning of. Oh wow! I was going to ask, did he boat or did he fly over?
He flew over. And so he was playing. I would say a fairly typical Old Dominion list. It had some bone golems. It had some kerries. It had 2 min units of Cataphractoi, which was a bit different, and it had a block. It had a Strategos with a block of Praetorians with Aura of Death, which was, very enjoyable. Now, I can't complain because I also had Awe of Death 4, but I didn't have Praetorians.
Yeah, but you have Bastion, Force-Grown Drones, and a billion of them in a high clone.
Yeah, but see, Bastion, Force-Grown Drones only get to defense 3. And Praetorian Guard get to defense 5, re-rolling 6s with Tenacious. Right?
I know.
And they're mediums. Right, so this is completely separate to the game, right? The game was a really nice game. It ended up being really close, and I think if it had gone one more round, then I would have won. So it finished off 50, but we went to round 10. So sorry, we finished out all 10 rounds. Wow. If there were 11 rounds, I think I would have won. So it finished off 56 to him, 54 to me.
Oh.
So it was a really close game in the end. It came down to the Praetorians who were able to hold one of the zones just for longer. And I wasn't able to clear them off it. So end of the game, I had the other zones. So he finished with just his Praetorian Guard left on the zone, which was a really close game towards the end. But he ran away with it at the start. So I think this is like I was saying earlier, because he had 2 Strategos in medium units. He had the Praetorians. He also had one in a legionary unit with an Optio. So on turn 2, he had 2 medium units on zones on each side, which really I just struggled to clear them off. My kind of Sentinels kind of flubbed a few attacks into the Cataphractoi and stuff, but overall we had a really bloody fight in the centre where my Force-Grown Drones went, with my Marksman clones was shooting over. But yeah, he was just able to score with his Praetorians on one of the zones and ran away with it.
Damn.
Towards the end. But yeah, it was really good. My opponent played really well. And yeah, it was great. And Kerry's really scary when you get up to tier 3 Dark Power.
Yeah, I've had them drop like 12 attacks on a unit of Ashendon and then roll too many 6s and watch them explode.
Yeah, it's like, so lower down, they're not. So I was going, you on her. They're not as good into the I was really worried about them into the Force-Grown Drone block because obviously you take your resolve on the lowest resolve, but they are loose formation. So
also,
it's not too bad.
I believe you're mindless, so you have to take the highest resolve on top of that.
Well, yeah, it was a weird. I didn't mean. I assumed it would be the lowest one. I could definitely be wrong on that.
Just check those Force-Grown Drones.
Because I don't know if it counts as a resolve check.
When a character stands attached to the regiment use the highest resolved characteristics in the regiment, including modifiers even when broken. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So you would have been resolve 1,000,000, and then so you would have just been failing on 6s.
Yeah, and I don't think he actually used it on that. So he nuked the Strix obviously because they're resolve 1.
Oh yeah,
with them. So that was basically the death of the Strix. Strix I find aren't fantastic into Old Dominion anyway because they're high enough defense that actually they don't really die to lethal demise.
If you catch them in the side,
yeah, then and they're fast, and you can use them to screen. You can use them to turn regiments, but
also you can go for like the Hero Deacon and the Archimandrite because they're usually sitting in a unit like an MSU of Legionnaires, and you can kind of get them in the side. And then at that point, you can probably like clash and explode on them and kill them off.
That's it. Yeah. The thing that's difficult I find with Old Dominion is that, like with the units, and this was like when I played them too, which was the nice thing, is like when you've got the unit of the Archimandrite and the Hierodeacon, unless you kill the unit, you don't really care. Because they don't do anything apart from sit in the unit. Like, I'll happily have my Archimandrite walking around with his, stand of 1 wound Legionnaires.
Yeah.
If my opponent's not going to be able to shoot, if you want to shoot at them, fine. But, if they're not going to be able to charge them or anything, then they just kind of wander about. Which is a really nice part, I think, of Old Dominion. But yeah, overall, it was really good. It was just, like I said, I wasn't able to kill the block of Praetorians. And I was just looking, especially when we got to the end when that was the only unit left, because like if he won priority, they were defense 5. And I was like, oh well, there's no. By the end of it, I think I even just stopped shooting at them. Yeah, and I was like, whatever. Yeah, I passed my actions.
The defense 5 Praetorians is a super rough block to get into, and it's just like another
6s.
Yeah, and then they're just aura deathing you, and you're just like, great.
Yeah.
Like it takes forever to kill them, and you just need the drop, and it's
Yeah.
like a worse war vet from Wadroon, because at least they get up to 4 blessed, and you can kind of trickle in some damage. The 5 rerolling 6s is just like, man, where's the hole?
Yeah, and the Archimandrite can heal them too. I did eventually kill the Archimandrite, but yeah, the Archimandrite can heal them as well. So even if you do like 4 wounds, they just heal most of it back anyway.
No.
So that's quite rough. But it was a really, it was a really good, really close game.
No, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and it seems like Old Dominion's terror upon the world is finally starting.
Yeah, long overdue. I think we should all just accept for the next few months that Old Dominion are the new power gaming overlords.
Yeah,
as they rightfully should be, as the inheritors of the once great empire.
No, that's fair. They also kind of took it for like a year, so they now need to give it.
That's it, yeah. And yeah, so I know that. So third place was a guy called Craig, who also played Old Dominion.
Oh.
And he was playing against. So his final round was against Chris, who you might have heard mentioned on Josh Maldonea, their nemesis. But he was an Old Dominion player for the longest time. Though he managed to build and paint up his 2,000 points of Sorcerer Kings for this event. So that was really nice to see. He had, and I know I mentioned earlier about the girls, but the goals managed to charge and kill a unit of stalkers with a blooded attached to them.
Oh,
so that was like the best activation that goals I think have ever had.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, they're
mad.
It was wild. Yeah, he was telling me, and he was so excited, and I was like, I don't even know how that happens. Like, that's insane.
It's like, man, you rolled 1s and 2s on all your clash, and they rolled like 3 and above, and just exploded, and then resolved it.
You'd be rolling negative ones on your hit dice. To
hit with
exactly.
goals.
Yeah. So that was fun.
So you got second. What is now forever known as a Karl. So you won your Karl.
I did. Yeah.
Did you get
a silver gnome?
You got a silver gnome.
Yeah.
Nice. So how many?
So now
how many gnomes do you have?
I've only got 1 gnome. That's my first silver gnome. I've got a nice trophy from another hobby shop, but now I've got 1 gnome, and I intend to win some more. I hope.
Well, Karl's a little ahead of you, but you need to get to 12 so you can run a regiment of gnomes.
Ah, that's a good point. Yeah, so I need of varying colours. I don't even care what colour they are. I'll happily come third. I just really want some more gnomes.
You probably just get 3 and call it a brute stand or something.
Or if I get 1 of each, so I need to win something one day. I just come and win a Adepticon. Easy.
You'll have to dethrone Karl. Well, you'll either get first or third.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Though, so I think I've said before, even before I spoke to Karl, I also had the problem of always coming second in events when I was playing Old Dominion. So I feel like if me and Karl play each other, it's going to cause some kind of, I don't know,
draw.
Unstable, yeah. Well, no, it's like some kind of like unstable rift in the universe will open up.
Well, what'll probably happen is it'll draw, and then you guys will like add up the points, and the TO will announce it and be like, Kyle, 150. Aaron, 150. Strength of schedule, 50. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, you'll go to shake hands at the beginning of the round, and then like matter and antimatter, you'll collide and just annihilate each other.
Hey,
exactly. That's what I think will happen.
There'll just be a hole where the table and everything was.
And that's it, and then someone else can come second. I'll take that one for the team, so we don't, I mean, I'm really interested to see who comes first and third in Worlds.
Oh man, I'm excited to like see how Worlds develops.
Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for next year because there was no way I was going to be able to go this year with new baby.
Yeah,
but next year I can feasibly probably go.
Are you
whether or not I qualify? I have no idea. But
are you going to travel to Americano and play in some big conventions there to try and farm?
Probably not next year.
Oh, okay.
But I also don't think there's going to be many players in my region that do that. So I think once I get, UKGE and London GT, maybe I could find another one in Europe, or maybe if we won another one in the UK, that'd be 3, which I think is probably enough for my region. And then just play and organise some of the other ones, the local community events.
Is your local community getting up to 12 players so you can run to classify as like it's a C something? I forget what that was called. They're basically the local worlds events and not like a tournament world event.
Yeah, WCE. So my local, I think I probably will be able to next year. So we've had quite a few new people start recently. So maybe, in maybe 6 months' time, I think I'll be able to get a good 12 people. And people will travel as well. So I think about 6 months' time, when I'm going to run some, I think we'll have about 12 players to be able to do it. The problem we have in the UK is just getting space to do it, because space is so expensive to hire.
That's why you're looking at the house prizes in Red Deer.
Honestly, yeah, housing. I've seen loads of people in Canada complaining that house prices are expensive, and I understand they are, but compared to what I'm looking at here, I'm like, man, I could own land.
Yeah.
I could buy a ride-on lawnmower over in Canada. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's like, it's got 2 bathrooms. That's impressive.
You ever drink while mowing your lawn? It's an amazing experience.
I've never even owned lawn, Mass. That's the problem over here.
Anything with
a garden is so expensive.
You can never touch grass.
No, exactly. I mean, I can go over to the woods across the road from me, but no, I cannot touch grass. It's very sad.
That's why Just Roll Runs is so fucked up.
James might have grass. I'm not sure.
You should touch his grass.
Yeah, that's it. But no, so that's when we're looking at houses. I just want one with a garden so I can touch grass.
Yeah, well, you were looking at the map there. Basically, everything outside of the cities is just flat.
I love it. Yeah, I would move to Canada.
No,
maybe not Winnipeg. But...
You get the initiation.
Look, I'm pretty sure Mass said that she was going to stab me. So sorry, that Cass said she was going to stab me.
I'll stab you too if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I might. You watch it, or else.
Yeah, what's going to happen? It'll be quick.
Yeah, that's how you win so many tournaments. That's how it goes down.
Just stab everybody.
In Winnipeg, there's the tournament, and then there's the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one we don't talk about.
Look, I'm 6'3", and I've got some really fancy otter pants.
Yeah, so, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't mean nothing.
You don't know what. Hey, look,
you don't know what's really inside my otter pants.
Yeah, only a really cool person would wear those otter pants. Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna.
As the fashion icon of Conquest. This is the other one. Yeah, for London GT, everyone has to wear Hawaiian shirts. I'm just throwing that out. If you ever come over, it's a requirement. I'm sorry.
I have. What the fuck is that? I have a shirt from the Dominican Republic. What's close enough to Hawaiian.
Brilliant. That's fine. We won't know the difference. They're both really far away from us, so that's cool.
Yeah.
It's an island, I think. It's Dominican Republic an island?
It is. It's
Good, yeah.
Same island Hades on in
the
Caribbean. It's going to be the Meridian Sea. And I'm like, the Meridian's by Italy. Doing well here.
I know where Italy is. I've got that one.
Are you going to Italy?
I've been. It's nice. I've been to Rome.
Oh, that must be fun. I need to cross the sea at some point. I've kind of explored all. I've been to coast of North America. I need to cross the sea. I need to go to the UK to play you guys, the Just Roll One guys, the Josh Around guys, and anyone else who I end up playing. I need to go to Germany to play Hannah and her meta. And then I know Leo. I have to go to Greece to play Leo at Parabellum.
Just get into Worlds. I don't know what you mean. It's easy.
Yeah, no, because I'm a terrible for me to plan stuff. I got to know quite a while in advance. So
yeah,
this year's Worlds was fucked from the start. While next year Worlds might be a thing. I don't know.
I'm tempted to take it off. I don't think I'll qualify for our region, but I might take the date off anyway. And if I don't qualify, then I'll just go on a nice holiday with my family. And
yeah,
that seems like a fine Find a solution.
I think that's the other
Maybe
issue.
Greece.
Because like you have to qualify for Worlds. That if you plan it and you don't qualify, and it's like, okay, well, all that time and money was spent. While it's like, like I don't have the time to like set up Worlds. Like I need to set up so far in advance that I can get the days off to properly do it and not be like, hey, I've qualified for Worlds. By the way, I'm working, so I guess I won't go.
Oh, that's also something over. I don't know what it's like in Canada. What are your work? What's your holiday like for work? How many holidays do you get?
Man, I don't know.
We're about to experience a huge culture shock here because we don't do. North Americans have a little thing called work ethic, so we don't take 3 months off in the summer.
Yeah, mate, that's
like they do in the
a mug's
UK.
game. Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, so this really frustrates me. So I'm always looking. Like, if my work listens, I'm always looking for new jobs just to see what's out there. But it's when I see companies, I see these companies, and I think they're often not English companies, but they'll be like under perks. It's like, 28 days holiday. I'm like, wow, that's generous. That's the the minimum legal amount you're allowed to offer me. Like, that's hardly a perk, is it? So, yeah. So, I mean, over here we get 4 weeks. I mean, that's including bank holidays. I don't really know, but anyway. Holiday for me isn't a huge deal. I mean, I don't have I'm not saying I have an insane amount of holiday, but obviously compared to Americans, actually, I probably do.
I mean, the irony here is that I also have a pretty generous vacation relative to what I do for a living, so I'm just talking shit.
Worlds.
So mine.
That would require me to qualify for it, which I don't think is definitely not going to happen this year. Maybe next year if I really stick to it. But
so
I mean, who else is in your region? Is Canada not its own region?
Canada is its own region. The problem is that we're so goddamn long. It takes like 3 days to travel from one end to the other.
Yeah, it's hard without
plane rides. So
we don't have the numbers to do Worlds. The other problem is like through my job, unfortunately, there's just an internal structuring based. I don't want anyone to know even the remotest thing about what I do.
You work at the DMV.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do for a living.
The Canadian version of that.
There are structural complications that preclude me from just booking the time off that I want. There's like a process that I have to go through, and it's not assured. So like. I mean, yeah, I have a week off for something and that thing falls through, then I'll just gladly have a week to myself, and that's great. But it's also there's a relative level of uncertainty with me even being able to book off at a time in any scenario. Just really long.
The work ethic. Look at you with the work ethic. I'm just like, not coming in that week.
No, nobody from my job is listening to this, so I'll tell you, I've quit pretty hard.
Yeah, well, see, to be fair, like I haven't. Like I still dream of the job, right? But so like last week I ended up doing like 4 10-hour days, which I know isn't completely unreasonable, but I'm only paid for 8 hours. I'm actually only paid for 7.5-hour days. So on the Friday I was like, it got to like 12 o'clock, and I was like, well, it's me. See you later. They're like, we're going to do this. I was like, I can do it on Monday. Don't know what to tell you. Like. So see you later. So today I think it's just one of those, isn't it? Obviously, I came home to play Conquest. My real job.
Yeah, I mean, we're all just podcast millionaires. They're just waiting for that money to come in.
Yeah, exactly, my internet dollars.
I'm just waiting for my first big sponsor.
Yeah,
Raid Shadow Legends.
That'd be ideal. Raid Shadow.
I'm gonna be really honest. I like every once in a while I check the BonkTable Gmail account, and it's like, hey, we see that you're doing YouTube stuff. Give us money, and we'll like send bot a subscriber. Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't give a fuck. Leave me alone.
As much as Raid Shadow Legends is just like a proper meme, like it wasn't that bad a game.
I have never played it and never.
I love trashy mobile games, so it could be a bad game. And I never played Raid Shadow Legends, but it's something where if I was bored enough, and I hadn't dropped my phone a few months ago and haven't gotten around to getting it fixed, if games on it aren't fun, then I would probably ultimately have tried it at some point.
I played Summoner's War for a while, and that's probably worse than Raid 7 Legends.
Oh, I've played some of the most garbage ass predatory games that you could ever imagine. It's shameful.
You should play Monster Hunter now when you've
Monster Hunter now? Is that like Pokemon Go? But instead
Basically,
you're capturing the monsters?
Yeah, no, you're fighting them. It's genuinely better than Pokemon Go, and that's not just me just saying that because I play it.
Oh, sorry, that's not me making a noise at you guys. Something just happened.
Is it?
Did you drop your phone again?
Yeah. looking at too much.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything you want to ask of us? As we've talked about our holidays, when I'm totally leaving in because this is BonkTable, baby. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
I don't know. What are you playing? Have you picked up your Dweg yet, Max? Are you playing them?
Yeah, there's battle reports out about them.
No, I meant but are you playing them properly, like in person?
Yeah, there's battle reports about them properly in person.
Okay. Sorry, let me rephrase it. So if you go to like a con this year, will you take Dweg?
Okay. Sorry for bothering you because that's totally what I was doing. I was pulling your
chain. Oh
no. Depends. Like my first true love is still 100K, and like I still go back to her even though I'm playing Dweg. Just because I still think of fun and dumb shit to do as 100K and play it and want to play it and kind of stay up on it. It's also the thing that I have painted a lot of, but it's very certain things that I have painted for certain lists and not like the entire faction because that's just going to take fucking forever, especially if I'm going to play Heavy Hog. But like if there's local stuff, I would play Dweg. I'd play Dweg. Like local tournaments, even tournaments that I travel to what are considered local, like in Calgary, there's a Met over there, Saskatchewan, and if I ever head out east to like Ontario, I for sure would play Dweg and just have some fun. If I was going to a major convention, I like Adepticon or LVO, I'd probably fall back on 100K just because if you want to have a chance of winning, you got to do a bunch of stuff, and one of them is like play what you know. I know 100K, I can play 100K. And so I would still play those games. Like the problem with Adepticon, after Adepticon, was that I had played that horse list since the summer at least, in various different capacities of it, to the point where I'm just tired.
Yeah.
Like it was like almost 9 months of straight horse. So I really needed to take a break, and Dweg is doing that, and now I'm like fucking around with other things. So like if someone said, "Hey, there's a convention next month. What's going to be 5 to 6 rounds? What are you going to?" I'm like, "Oh, Bill, I'm going to play horse because that's what I know, and I'll enjoy it." But with the advent of Dweg and me playing that, I have other things I can do and enjoy. I don't feel locked in and restricted as much anymore. Like 100K has a ton of builds. Problem is like, like you hit your head against a wall long enough, you kind of get tired of hitting your head against a wall, except for small children. So it was kind of like that at a couple points where there were just some things in 100K that I wasn't too excited about. Things have changed. Different builds have come up. Discussions have been had. Ideas are spinning in my head about what to do with them, and I'm kind of being like revigorated in the enjoyment of 100K to go back to that. So there's your long form answer for that question.
I think if I was going to play 100 Kingdom, I would be really interested in playing Heavy Hog. I just don't want to build that many stands of Gilded Legion.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm building that many stands of fucking Gilded Legion.
And Cass, what are you playing at the moment?
Well, I mean, I'm still super Nords pilled. I was trying to run this list for a couple months now, or at least about 8 weeks, I think, and it wasn't clicking for me. I don't think it's a bad list is the worst part. Like, I think it's pretty solid. It was like I was trying to make a no anvil list, and I think in the hands of a more confident player, it's probably decent. So now I'm going back to what I know, which is a huge block of Valkyries, and with otherwise just being the standard like Nord's list. So I think I'm hoping that things will go a little better with that because I had a couple of shall we say discouraging gameplay experiences that I now need to work my way emotionally back from.
You're being Falk pilled.
No.
Jotnar maxing. Is it?
Yeah, the Jotnar maxing unfortunately wasn't well. I mean, everything is consequential to like what I have too, because I don't have everything that I need to run what I want. So the downside is to make this Valk list work. Like I have to pivot to Bearsarks.
Oh yeah.
Is nobody's favorite choice, but I don't think they're necessarily like. I think I can make it work.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. No, that's sweet.
No, nice.
I don't know. I mean, this is maybe a controversial thing, but it's something I've been mulling over in my head for a while, so I'm just going to throw it out on the podcast, see what people think. Kind of thinking about maybe getting out of Woodroon.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Selling them?
I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, they're kind of shelved for now. I like them. Like, aesthetically, they're my favorite. I would probably keep the dinosaurs just because I like them. And just sell the infantry and stuff.
Yeah. But it's probably worth waiting to see what happens with the update as well.
That's what I think it's going to ultimately come down to. But like, I don't know. It's I'm finding that in a single game, playing more than one faction, I don't distribute my time very well. I tend to focus on what works. So.
Mm-hmm. And I guess my last question would be, what faction do you both hope comes out next? Or what are your guesses for what comes out next?
Cass, you're up.
I think it'll be Weavers, which is going to be cool. I wish it was Hell.
I think it's going to be Hell. No, I don't think it's going to be Hell. I would like to see Hell. I think Parabellum is going to pick one. I don't think it's going to be Weavers. And yeah, I think so.
Well, fuck you.
Yeah, you're in the minority here, man.
Good. Okay, how about this? You guys could both send me a beer when next year rolls around during first quarter and they say like, oh, it's Dogs of War or fucking something, like, and not Weavers.
Okay, here's the thing, I won't be able to do that because if it's Dogs of War, I'll slit my wrist.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
It's not time yet.
It's not dog time.
No, real talk though, right? Hell were done dirty in that Project 8 because Hell were objectively the coolest. But that Sorcerer model that they released was like the coolest model of all of them.
The Giovanni Giordi photo? Or
the Gropey Djinn. But honestly, that model is amazing.
Did you?
And the Hell one is so derpy and like...
Oh, it sucks.
Blocky.
It sucks so
much. The
much.
problem is, if more people were my age and remembered Disney gargoyles...
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Then Hell would have been a lock, but it's all these Zoomers with their skibbity toilets.
Have you watched Skibbity Toilet?
Yeah, it fucking goes wild.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It was far better quality than I was expecting it to be, in animation-wise. Like,
well, it's done in Half-Life, or it's done in Gary's mod, and that's been a staple of weird shit since Gary mods came out.
I just don't have... Like, I did watch whatever was current at the time that I watched it, which was, like, in the winter. Because somebody made me do it. And it's fine. I'm sure some people really love it. I'm just into other stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like,
other weird shit.
Kids are into weird stuff.
I did not expect how far the Skippity Toilet rabbit hole, like, brain rot dimension would go. And then it was like episode 8, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Oh, okay, okay. Like, it just goes.
Yeah.
And then it's good.
Yeah. It's weird. It is a weird experience, but that's because, Gen Alpha, whatever it is, are weird.
I don't even know what...
No.
I'm in 95. I, like, split the line between, like, X and
millennial. Yeah, okay. No, you're a millennial, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's the question: did you wear skinny jeans or baggy jeans?
Man, I went and wore like Carhartt pants because I fucking hated jeans until I got older.
See, I don't know what you are then.
Yeah, see, I'm an elder millennial because I will always, if given the choice, buy the tightest pair of black jeans that I can find, and that's what I wear.
Yeah,
because you're kind of booty maxing. That's what you're trying to do.
You're a real
Well, I mean,
millennial.
it helps, but skinny jeans, side part, like I'm literally just a millennial woman. It's painful.
Yeah, no, you are a real millennial.
Yeah.
I watched The Office when it first aired.
Oh God.
Oh, me too.
I'm a millennial, and Lost.
Lost was weird.
Lost was it was good that first season.
Lost, oh my god, I could do a whole episode just on my opinions about Lost. It was my favorite TV show of all time. It's part of the reason why I got married to my ex-wife, in fact. Like, it was part of how we met. I was super fucking into Lost. It's garbage now. It's unwatchable trash.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, it's one of those things where it was so innovative in its time, but now everything that it did that was special is so normal that it just looks like a huge clumsy piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wish somebody would remake it. Like, I think if there's one show that like not only could make a remake work within its own premise, but would fucking kick ass with modern television sensibilities, is the one that, I don't know, I guess nobody wants to do J.J. Abrams stuff. But
well, I kind of like. I know.
Or give him work. I feel like there's something about him that I missed, because all of a sudden I remember when he was like a big deal, and now nobody ever talks about him.
It's because he did like Cloverfield.
Well, the first Cloverfield was great.
I fucking hate the shaky cam.
The follow-up Cloverfields. Well, see, that's another thing, is like a found footage horror movie like that, like groundbreaking for its time, but now it's like there's 8 million VHSs and Rex that have done it all and then some. And I mean, of course, there's Blair Witch, but there are differences that I think make them different ideas.
I mean, I think that he did Star Trek. I really like Star Trek, the new one. I say new, but yeah, it was 2009.
Yeah,
but that was a good film. Into Darkness was fine.
I
did Star Wars and their movies that exist.
I don't think he should have had Star Wars.
No,
you know what? Actually, hold on. He did well for episode 7. I liked 7.
Right, 7 was fine. It was not the worst one.
It's just 8 did not help 9.
And these are my personal opinions, mind you, but it's crazy to me how he took the sucky major science fiction franchise and made it cool and fun. And
Star Trek was awesome.
And then I was not a Star Trek kid. Like, I see now as an adult, like, I can definitely appreciate it a lot more. But when I was a kid, I was like, this is boring and it's stuck. Nobody has a cool helmet or shoots anybody else.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Worf is getting the shit kicked out of him every 2 minutes.
Yeah, like, you know, I can see that. But the new Star Wars. So, but it's wild that, like, so what was it? Rogue One was really good.
Yep.
And I quite liked the other. Oh no, Solo was alright. It was a movie that wasn't appalling, I guess. But yeah. At least 7 was fine. Like, Force Awakens, not dreadful. Like, it was a movie. It was fine. It had nice. Rise of Skywalker, like the whole story arc of it was Poe and what was the lady's name? I can't remember because I can't. No, not Ray. I think I can't remember what.
Carrie Fisher?
No. She you don't remember because she was so unimportant.
Oh, was it that flower chick Rose?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
who kissed Finn, and he's like, we don't win by sacrificing. We win by preserving. We protect.
Yeah,
he's going to do heroic sacrifice.
Her story with Finn was just completely irrelevant. The entire story, like, you could literally take out that entire story and it wouldn't change the movie at all.
Yep,
it was a complete waste of time. And also, I'm fairly certain that Poe was meant to be gay from the first movie. I just got that vibe from him. I don't know. And then,
well, he played Duke Leto Atreides, and that guy was pretty gay.
Yeah. Well, I thought. I thought the first movie was setting up like a little romance between Finn and Poe.
Well, they also, like, in the first movie, they took Poe out for like the first half of it, and it's like suddenly he's back, and he saves them at the blown out canteen or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay.
Also, the entire problem, the entire conflict in this always really annoys me in like movies and books. That the entire conflict, the entire story could have been solved if Admiral Purplehair just trusted Poe and told him what the bloody plan was. Right? That's all that had to happen.
Yeah,
and then everything would be fine. And I hate that in any book. I hate it when it's like, oh, there's this big drama thing because people can't talk to each other. I'm like, God, just talk.
To be fair, that to bring it back, that's also was a huge problem in Lost. Is that if people had just talked to each other,
I feel like that's just a huge problem.
Materialized.
Yeah.
Well, it's never.
What it is.
Maybe we should talk more.
Well, it's always. I mean, I'm not a big romance book reader, but it's a big trope in like romance books where they're like, oh no, there's this huge drama because these two characters couldn't have like a basic adult conversation with each other. And now it's a big deal, and I'm like, this is shit. Like, just talk and express yourselves to each other.
Have you watched any romance anime? Because that is the main focal point. They don't talk to one another.
No, I was going to make a joke then insulting anime watchers, but I can't do that because I also have watched anime.
So have I.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
No, I was going to say no. I haven't watched any romance anime because I talked to girls when I was a teenager.
Oh, thank goodness someone did.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to sort of throw everyone at the bus. It's like someone asked me the other day about Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, I never watched it.
Oh wow!
I don't know.
I watched it in Spanish when I was a kid.
Okay.
Wow. I don't know any Spanish, but I know what was going on. It's mostly them standing there and screaming at each other until they start punching.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's if you ever want to watch Dragon Ball, just go watch the abridged version from Team Forge Star. It's way more entertaining than actual Dragon Ball, and still like conveys the same message and story arcs and everything, and it's good. You can watch that with your kids.
I can't wait. I'm going to watch Pokemon. We're going to watch other TV shows. Probably Dragon Ball. Naruto. Is Naruto good?
You want to get a TV guide for that one and skip all the filler because there's a lot.
Actually, we'll watch One Piece. I've just started watching One Piece from the start.
Oh, I can't do
episode 18.
Early One Piece. It's too hard for me.
No, I'm on episode 18. Stupid. I was watching X Hunter X.
That's good.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I was talking to some of the Competent Conquest people, and I was like, holy crap. Like an 8-year-old who just ripped some dude's heart out of his chest. I was like, what the hell is going on? This is great.
Yeah, don't worry. I have a framed picture of Hisoka when he's like, go! And he's like all horny and he's lit up. And it's like, why the fuck did I buy this? Why is it framed in my computer room?
Brilliant.
Yeah. The girlfriend has a framed picture of Bucciarati from JoJo's Part 5. And then also Gioro's fucking somewhere. I think Dio's in there too.
Oh, lovely. Oh, right. I might have to go to bed now because it is 2:20.
Oh wow!
Jesus.
Thank you for staying up with us, though.
No, you're welcome. This has been very enjoyable. I've had 3 beers.
Hell yeah!
This is a lot. I haven't drank in a long time.
Oh, that's when it was good. Need 3 beers to get through BonkTable. Okay.
I think this year, when we do the end of year wrap up episode, which I'm sure we'll do again, we should do a drinking competition.
Oh, you guys lose because I have a boot.
Well, I was going to say like a sorted, assuming people drink. I'm not going to. This isn't peer pressure. You don't have to. But
I'll drink and you drink. I mean, I'll just drink.
Okay,
it's legal where you are. It's okay.
The girlfriend has messaged me because she heard me talk about Bucciarati. I have to address him by his proper title, my wife. Oh my god. There, I hope she's happy.
Yeah, I'll do mushrooms for the year-end wrap.
Oh my god.
Fantastic. I won't do that, but I will drink a beer.
I still have to be somewhat eligible? I don't know. The talkie version of writing well. So yeah. Any, before we close out for the night, or your morning, anything you want to shout out? I don't know what the fuck it's called. You know, do your thing of being like
plug. You mean
plug?
Yeah. So if you're looking for another an additional Conquest podcast to listen to, you have a listen to Just Roll Ones. Me and my co-host James talk about a variety of different Conquest topics. And I guess some other suggestions I'll shout out Joshing Around in Air, who are another great English Conquest podcast. And there's one more, but I forgot. Oh no.
You can't do this.
I know what everybody should listen to.
BonkTable. Well, they've already listened to BonkTable, is it? Actually, I can check on my Spotify. There's another really good podcast, which it's not Conquest specific, but they do talk about Conquest. And it is... Oh, come on. Where's my list of podcasts? Thank you for listening to me continue talking.
Yeah, ramble.
Yeah, hold this up. Oh my god, come on, Spotify, where are they? Oh, Betrayed by Dice.
Betrayed by Dice.
Which is a nice
relatable.
It's a nice wargaming, I guess, agnostic podcast where they do talk about Conquest, but other games as well. And that's one I really enjoy as well. And remember, friends don't let their friends play Warhammer.
Oh, you know what? I think I've seen these guys on my Spotify. They've come up a couple times.
Oh, yeah, they're good. I enjoy them. It's a nice.
Oh, they did a London GTA episode.
Yes,
last year in October.
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing this year too. But yeah, you should. I'd definitely listen.
Yeah, you know, sure. I always need more stuff. Thank you. Yeah, I would.
You're welcome.
I'm glad we had you on. I'm glad to get you on BonkTable finally.
Definitely.
And like chat about your erg, your Karl.
Anytime. Yeah.
We should do this more often, where we
hop
into each other's DMs.
Mm-hmm. And I'll talk to you on Friday.
Yeah, we'll figure out what kind of terrible game happens out of that one. God, I love TTS. It's like my gorilla hands are smashing my face into the screen.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you for coming on, Aaron.
Right. Thank you for having me.
All right. For everyone else listening, BonkTable's got podcasts. You listen to it. YouTube channel. Cassandra has not an Instagram, an X, a Twitter. There we go. Figured it out.
No, it's a Twitter. It's never an X.
Yeah.
BonkTable Cast.
Are you not zeeting? Is that it?
Well, if you want to find out what I'm zeeting, you gotta pay.
It's not the only cast. And then we also have the Discord, so if you'd like to talk to any of us, Aaron is on here under the name Responsible English Daddy, so he can also double up as a pump daddy for you. And
all the hits, all the main freaks of the Conquest community are there.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Also, if you're in Europe, and specifically the UK, there is the UK Conquest community Discord you should hit up as well. I believe it's actually run by Aaron.
Yes, thank you. I forgot.
Yeah. So, yeah, join all those, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Bye.
BonkTable.
Bye.